Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today, working on the 70 Chevy truck. I have body mounts for today's video. I'll show you what I got here. Not real impressed with this kit, but it's an energy suspension kit. I'll try to link that. But it is got the radiator support, bushings, front cab mounts, and rear cab mounts. So it does have all the cab mounts. What it doesn't have is all new bolts, which is kind of what disappoints me about this kit. They got new bolts for the front, but I think they're supposed to be carriage bolts, and they're supposed to be some sort of a square washer for that. So we'll see how that goes. But one thing I'm a little concerned about is the rear mount of the cab. This has the fuel tank behind the seat there. So the rear cab bolts go into what they call cage nuts. And those are just nuts that are kind of welded in a cage so they can't spin. And that's how you take those off. Front ones are pretty easy because you can pull your carpet up and you can hold the top and the bottom. And then the radiator support, again, that's the original ones are carriage bolts, so you should be able to loosen them up if they aren't too rusty. So yeah, we'll see how all this goes. You can see, I'll show you how the body lines don't really match up anymore, and that is, I guess, from the cab mounts wearing out. So hopefully once we get the new cab mounts in, everything will be straight here, and yeah, it'll look a little better. I'm hoping it's going to be a little not so bouncy. It gives a lot. But these are polyurethane, so they shouldn't, well, they'll give, but they won't give as much. So, yeah, we'll see. First off, I gotta see if the bolts are gonna come up on the rear mount of the cab. If they ain't gonna come, probably this video is gonna end pretty quick, but we'll see here. Okay, so happy to say, both these come out, these rear cab bolts, and actually the threads are really clean, but this sucker is a long bolt. I mean, this is a Montana truck, so I was hoping to find stuff like that. So both these come out, so I'm actually going to continue on, and I got to take out the front one, which is a much bigger, I think, shorter bolt for some odd reason. Then I gotta go loosen up the radiator support. They got them soaking in blaster, but they're right there, and it almost looks like them are barely tightened down. Yeah, we'll see. I gotta get this one side loosened up, and we'll go from there, I guess. Okay, so I actually had to cut this front cab bolt on the driver's side. You can see this bolt's pretty crusty, which I'm surprised to see that, especially with how well the rear one looked. But I had to get the old air cat out and cut it. I tried. I got the big DeWalt out, and it was shaking my hand so bad that I had to just cut it. Not too bad. Easy access. Looks like you're gonna need a 5.5 inch bolt if you got to replace that. We have 6 inch and we have 5 inch. I think a 5-inch will work with as much thread as I see coming through the bolt. I think a 5-inch will do it. And we have those, so hopefully I won't be slowed down by that. I got to loosen the core support bolts. Hopefully no issues there. And well, I'll get the jack out and we'll jack up the driver's side and try to get all those cab mounts out and get the new ones in. That's a 9/16 bolt, if you want to know the size of that. Okay, so that front cab bolt is right under the floor there. So you can hold it there. Like I said, I tried to hold it and it wasn't gonna go, so I had to cut it. Okay, so the front radiator support bolt, it fought just like the front cab mount bolt. Had to get the cutoff wheel again, and that one's a little tighter to get into. So yeah, I had to cut this one off, and you can see this is in bad shape. This is the carriage bolt. This is what should have come with my kit, is another carriage bolt, and then you got this flat, this or square washer thing that uses the carriage bolt. But yeah, this is every bolt's starting to fight me now, and I'm getting a little aggravated, but that's what old trucks do. So ready to jack the driver's side up. Let's see if I can't swap some of these bushings. The front radiator support bolt on this side, I don't know how it's even going to come out, because it looks like the radiator's got to come off to be able to get to that bolt. It's like right underneath the radiator, so I don't know how I'm going to do that one, but we'll see here. I mean, the truck needs a radiator, but I wasn't going to do it right now, so I don't know. We'll see. Let me get the driver's side in, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys. So I got the cab jacked up, and I got it jacked way up. The reason for that is because you got to get this thing out from underneath it, and you might have to actually take off your bumper. Mine's clearing the bumper right now, but if you might have to take your bumper off to clear it. But yeah, this thing, I didn't know it was this big, but this goes in here like that. This is how it came. I just pried out this bushing, but that's your rear mount. They want you to reuse this piece. I got to trim it down to 3 7/8. So hopefully that'll work. They're using smaller bottom bushings is why you got to trim this up. I don't know why they don't just supply new ones, but this one's in pretty good shape. So I guess I'll just trim it down like they say. And hopefully we'll be close to getting one side done anyway. Okay, so there it is. New mount there, cut off bushing. So I'm going to install this. I had no idea I was going to be doing this much cutting and modifying and stuff. I thought it was going to be a pretty straightforward thing, but it is not. So if you're going to do this, be prepared to do a bunch of work. Okay, so I've got the driver's side. All the bushings are in, the bolts are loose, but they're in. The body actually, or the cab actually shifted on me, and I had to jack it back up and kind of use a pry bar on the mounts and kind of get it shifted back, because as I jacked it up, it kind of got out of shape. Couldn't get my bolt holes lined up for that rear cab mount. I had to get my own bolt for the front cab. I already told you about that. I had to get my own bolt for the front radiator support. No big deal. We have a bunch of bolts, but if you don't, you might want to plan on that. I've got a 3-inch for the cab. It's a 3-inch by 3/8 bolt, and they want you to reuse the original bolt and nut, but that that's not going to happen because you're probably going to have the same thing that I had right there. That's unusable. So, and then I actually had my own big washers. You might want to get a big washer or something like that, or maybe just go buy the OEM carriage bolt. I'm not going to be able to do this one, I don't think, because I'm not going to be able to get it out. I'm probably going to end up doing the radiator tomorrow, so I can finish this job. Wasn't going to do that, but to finish the passenger side, I'm going to have to. Unless that bolt loosens up. If I get lucky and the bolt loosens up, I might be able to put off the radiator job, and then when I do the radiator, I'll just drop in the new bushing for the front support. But this is a lot more work than I thought. It's there's a few videos out there and they're like, it's no problem, just drop the unbolt it and drop them in there, and that's not the case, guys. Had to reuse that rear sleeve. The front cab mount, they said to reuse the sleeve, but there was no sleeve. There was no sleeve in this, so I don't know where the sleeve went or what happened to it, but this is all that was in there. And then that big washer. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and then them bolts that they give is for the rear, because they have you shorten the sleeve for the mount. This bolt, I thought it was for the front, but it's not. This is for the rear. So this is they send you a new rear cab bolt. But anyway, I'm gonna probably, I've got the bolt cut for the front one. I got the back one loosened up. I gotta go after this one. And yeah, I'll be back, guys. Okay, so now that the new bushings are in on the driver's side, you can see the trim is actually high, but I think once you tighten down the bolts, squish down the bushings, I think it's going to be right where it needs to be. So yeah, pretty happy that it straightened the truck out, because that annoyed me that those didn't line up. So hopefully once I cinch those down, everything's going to line up on this side and that side. Okay guys, so quick tip time. You want to get rid of a bolt. You can't loosen it up, and you can't cut the bolt off the normal way, which is lengthwise. So the tip here is just cut the nut in half with your grinder, and then you can pop your nuts off. Anyway, you get the idea. And you knock the nuts off, and then you can pull your bolt off. Okay, so I've got all of them in except for this front radiator support, and I think my square washer thing is seized onto the bolt, and I can't get it off. I think if you could separate that, you could probably snake that bolt out. I've got it soaking in blaster right now. Hopefully it'll let loose tomorrow maybe. But I think you can snake that bolt out. I thought you wouldn't be able to do it, but I think you can. So like I said, hopefully I think it's going to soak in the blaster I got on it tomorrow. It'll let loose, and I'll let you know if you can actually get that out without taking the radiator off. Okay, so I was able to get the radiator support bolt out. I think it was this one here. It was actually seized onto this square washer thing, and there's so little space it wasn't going to come out together. I had to pull the bolt out, then you pull the washer out, because there's just no room between the radiator and where this bolt goes. So So it is possible you can get it out. I had to let it soak overnight in blaster. Then I took a screwdriver and had to chisel away. You can see where I was hitting it with the screwdriver, pounding it, and it finally broke loose. But yeah, these are junk anyway. You wouldn't want to put something like that back in. Another thing I had to do was the washer, the big washer that came in the kit for that spot. I actually had to enlarge the hole because again, there's limited space. So the bolt is kind of going in kind of a little crooked because the radiator is there. So I had to kind of enlarge the hole so that bolt could go in crooked and then drop down. It's not going to affect anything because it's the washer that goes on the bottom side of the radiator support or the top side of the new bushing. So having a little bigger hole doesn't affect anything with that. So I've got them all in, I've got them all tight. Now I gotta dry this a few days and I'll give you guys, I guess, my impressions of the kit. One thing I'm gonna point out right now is the body lines and the moldings fit way better than they were before. This side is might be just a tad high. I might have to trim that sleeve. Remember those sleeves that I trimmed? I might have to grind this one down, this side, the passenger side, down a little bit more. Because like I said, the molding is a little high, but driver's side, it's actually perfect. So yeah, real happy with that. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna drive this probably for a few days and I'll let you know what I think. Okay guys, so there she be. See how nice and straight the body looks. Real happy with this repair. Even though the kit didn't come with bolts, I'm still happy with the kit. I just would have liked to have known that so I could have got bolts ahead of time. But the other thing you're gonna notice when you go with the polyurethane mounts is they don't soak up as much of the ride, which was actually a good thing. I mean, I like the little stiffer ride. Before it seemed like the truck was kind of like swaying back and forth. It feels much more solid now. And like I said, it gives you a little rougher ride, but I think the control, the more control you feel, it actually feels better, I think. If you want a cushy, squishy ride, you should probably go with the OEM rubber ones, but the reason I like the polyurethane is they're supposed to last forever. You know, it's supposed to be impervious to chemicals and stuff like that, I think. So pretty much they're a forever bushing. So I guess that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you.